When did I start playing hockey? Organized hockey as a youngster, a young boy. I started when I was about 8 years old. We used to call it playground hockey, and they had about, I don't know, 15, 20 teams throughout Winnipeg back in the 40s that were playing, and we didn't play many. I think we played maybe 10 games all winter, and of course they were all outside, so mind you, we did play inside at Christmas time. They had a tournament, they called it the knockout tournament of all actually the teams were from 12 years and under. Eh? They held it at the old Olympic rink, and it was indoors, but it was natural ice over there. But we didn't have to put up with the wind. Not that it was any warmer, because some days they had to open up the back door to warm up in the rink. So when I turned 16, and I was young when I started. I had 4 years of junior eligibility, and I played with the St. Boniface Canadians, and that meant I belonged to the Montreal Canadiens. So that was the way it went back then. I signed with the Montreal Canadiens in 1956 when I finished playing junior hockey. It's it's pretty exciting to get there, even to go to, when you get to training camp and being with at that particular time with the Montreal Canadiens, and they had the best organization and the best team, and they won the Stanley Cup 5 years in a row when I got there. So it was pretty exciting just to be part of that, and more so when I got to the point of playing with them. So that was, I guess, it was a great start for me, and I was very fortunate to be able to play with the Montreal Canadiens because they played the game the way it should be played, and so I was very fortunate to be with them for 3 Stanley Cups, and it sure helped me in the rest of my career. So I met her at a wedding. Her cousin was getting married, and my friend that I grew up with, his older sister was getting married, and we went to the wedding, and that's where I met my wife, and I always say she chased me around the dance floor.
We went out to a movie, and I said, well, I'm not going to go to a drive-in. Even then, you're not going to go to a drive-in on a first date, forget it. I got a pass, and I went to see him, and I was there for about a week, and this is boys, men. We went to a hockey game, and then after the hockey game, guys are in the living room and ladies are in the kitchen, and I said, there's no way I came all the way here to sit and talk to women I don't know. So I went in the living room and sat on his knee. He said, you can't do that. I said, yeah, I can. So I don't know where I got the nerve to say all this, honestly. And then he says to me, well, if you want a ring, you have to come back. So I had to go back, and not Christmas, in January I went back, and I got a ring from him, and here he is, and he bought me a radio too.
I know my family, my youngsters, they enjoyed traveling, where we went in Chicago, St. Louis, and Boston. It was great to go to these places and see all the different sights and whatnot.
Actually, we were only 1 year in Boston, and I wouldn't have minded staying there another year only to visit. There's so much to see in Boston and outside of Boston but with 4 kids, you don't get too far. We were in St. Louis for 4 years, and St. Louis gave us a car to drive around in, a little white car with the blue insignia.
It was we had a good time and a good life out of it, so we've enjoyed it. Well, it was halfway through the year, I guess, when they decided that they were going to try to get a new league going, and they, They talked to a number of players and asked if they would be interested in playing and going. And if there was a new league, the WHA, which to be formed and whatnot. And for me, it was great because I was 36 years old and I was ready to retire then. This league would not have been around if it wasn't for Bobby Hull signing that contract. And my centerman, Stan Makita, he said, I get up every morning, I get down on my knees, say, thank you, Bobby, thank you.
Well, we got to know each other real well in the early 60s. We were both in the Detroit organization, and I was playing in Memphis, and Ab came down for a while there as one of the veteran players to help tutor the young fellas. It was a young league, so that was my first experience of having him as a teammate, and then of course we came home to Winnipeg in 72-3 and got the WHA Jets started here. I always say that we had the best captain to start here in Winnipeg, and we certainly had the best house parties as well. So he was a leader in more ways than one, but we had a lot of fun together. We had a lot of sing-alongs. Ab loved to play the guitar, and so we used to certainly have our sing-alongs not only at our home house parties, but even on the road. Some of the boys would take their guitars and we'd get together in one of the rooms on the road and have some fun.
We have our 13-year-old granddaughter that is a pretty good player. She's playing tonight, as a matter of fact. She's in the playoffs. They got by the first round. In the second round, they won their first game, and then the last game they tied. They went into overtime, and they finished tied, so they have to play the game all over again. I said, why don't I have a shootout? No. So they go tonight. I survived, and my family has survived, and we've all done well. So I don't have any regrets. I'd say it would have been nice if I had gotten a little bit more of that money, but we enjoyed playing. But it's like Glenn Hall said, don't tell these guys we'd play for nothing or they wouldn't give us any money.